Well, guys, I'm pretty sure by now you guys know about the shooting that happened in Michigan State. Three students are dead, and five other students are in critical condition right now. Sad state of events that happened with this mass shooting. Rose actually put up a video on the sports channel where all of these sporting events have been pretty much shut down for right now, and that'll resume eventually, but all events over there shut down right now. And also, I believe that the campus is actually closed right now. Could be mistaken about that, not really sure. But I want to focus on Joe Biden and Democrats. Now, every time there's actually some type of a mass shooting, Joe Biden repeats the same talking points that he says every single time. Because, to Democrats, they actually believe that the guns kill people and not people. Now, for one thing, we know that people kill people because we know that the vast majority of people that are murdered every single year, the vast majority are killed without any weapons, really. It could be a hand or, it could be like a butter knife or a knife of some sort. Not really the guns. I said it before many, many times, folks. Criminals are going to criminal, act like criminals. Why? Because they're criminals. They do not follow the law. And I believe, when we actually wake up to that fact that criminals are going to be criminals, they don't follow the law. Because, if criminals actually followed the law, there would be no crime. But once we actually wake up and realize that criminals are going to do what they do, then maybe we can actually stop some things like what actually happened at Michigan State. But no, Joe Biden's same old talking points. Now, Beijing Biden and the Senate, with the help of some sellout Republicans, actually voted to violate your constitutional Second Amendment rights. Joe Biden said, we need more gun control. We need to ban assault weapons. What is an assault weapon? You ask a Democrat that, they never give you a good answer. But Joe Biden is yet at it again. He wants to violate your rights again. Now, I thought they already did that. I thought you already passed your quote unquote gun control. You see how that worked out, folks? Still another shooting. And people are dead. Your so-called gun control didn't do anything. You know what? You need criminal control. You need to lock these people up. And you'll realize that we'll get a change, folks, if we actually start thinking that way. Criminal control. Lock these people up. Democrats talking about mental health, they want to send out they don't want to send out the police because they hate the police. But let's say that this guy actually had some type of a mental health crisis and you sent out a healthcare worker or something like that. That healthcare worker would probably be dead. But let's get into this, guys. Beijing Biden responds to Michigan State shooting, calls on Congress for gun control laws. You just passed something like that months ago. You already did, but you know what? I guess this is just a new NPC download. Every time there's a mass shooting, we must pass gun control, common sense gun laws. You're going to hear that every single time. And what does it mean? It means nothing. Nothing. Yeah, they're going to pass laws to violate your constitutional rights, but that only affects the law-abiding citizen. This means nothing at all to criminals. Even if they actually ban every single gun and weapon in this country, the criminals will find a way to get it because they're criminals. They do not care about your laws. It says here, Beijing Biden on Tuesday afternoon issued a statement in response to a shooting at Michigan State University that left 3 students dead and 5 others wounded, and renewed his call for Congress to enact stronger gun control laws. See, Democrats are not going to stop until they take away all your weapons and only the criminals will have weapons. In a statement, Biden said he and his wife Jill, quote, are praying for the 3 students killed and the 5 students fighting for their lives after last night's shooting. He also said, quote, our hearts are with these young victims and their families, the broader East Lansing and Lansing communities, and all Americans across the country grieving as the result of gun violence. Too many American communities have been devastated by gun violence, he said. I've taken action to combat this epidemic in America, including a historic number of executive actions and the first significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years, but we must do more. Yeah, it's really working out there in Chicago, right? It is really, really working out there in Chicago. Now, guys, we actually have usually we do videos like on Mondays recapping the shooting deaths in Chicago. And when those things happen, when people get killed in Chicago, it's normally, Democrats always say they love black people, right? Black people kill other black people, they remain silent. Chicago is a war zone over the weekend, every weekend. They say nothing. They never say nothing. But anyway, goes on here, noting that the incident occurred the day before the 5th anniversary of the killing of 14 students and 3 staff members at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Beijing Biden said, it is time for every American to exclaim enough and demand that Congress take action. You guys already did that, right? You guys already did that. Beijing Biden renewed his demand, which he made part of his State of the Disunion address last week, that Congress enact common sense gun law reforms, the same talking points every single time, including background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons. See, what is an assault weapon? What is an assault weapon? These people don't own guns. They have no idea what they're talking about. And high capacity magazines, closing certain loopholes in the background check system and requiring guns to be stored safely. My goodness. I mean, what else can I really say about these people? What can I say? The Socialist Democrats, they really, I truly do believe they want criminals armed to a T. Whereas you, law-abiding citizen, they don't want you to have any weapons whatsoever. See, this is why I actually love living in Texas. We're a constitutional carry state. Now, last year I went and bought a gun, went to the gun shop, found a gun that I wanted, filled out paperwork, passed my background check, took my gun home immediately. And that's the way it should be. Constitutional carry needs to happen. People should be walking around defending themselves. And I don't know all the ins and outs of this shooting, but maybe if all of the people at Michigan State had guns, maybe they actually could have stopped this guy. Don't know for sure. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of this. It says here, Beijing Biden also called on the U.S. House and Senate to make gun manufacturers financially liable if they knowingly put weapons of war on our streets. What? Who's putting weapons of war on the streets? For one thing, you can't buy weapons of war in gun shops. You just can't. And he wants to hold them liable? I mean, that's kind of like, holding McDonald's accountable for somebody getting diabetes. That's ridiculous. Quote, action is what we owe to those grieving today in Michigan and across America, said Beijing Biden. He added that while the incident was unfolding Monday night, he spoke to Governor Gretchen Whitmer and directed the deployment of all necessary federal law enforcement to support local and state response efforts. Quote, I assure her that we would continue to provide the resources and support needed in the weeks ahead. Yeah. Same old talking points, man. And I'm not even going to read the rest of this. You guys know that Biden and Democrats, man, they are just so full of it. They're so full of it, guys. They just want to violate constitutional rights, and they're going to come out. They're going to say statements, ban weapons of war, sue the gun manufacturers, who actually sell weapons of war to people, but you can't actually go out there and buy weapons of war. You just can't do it. You see, they want to take away your 9mm. They want to take away your semi-automatic guns. They want to violate the Constitution. And I believe that Washington definitely needs to be reined in. They have been on a rampage, especially under Joe Biden. I mean, the federal government, man, needs to be checked. Convention of states actually does need to happen. But however, you need enough Republican governors to get elected to even have a convention of states. And then you have to see if these states would actually have the guts enough to go in and have a convention of states to reign in Washington and limit their power. Guys, our federal government is not supposed to be this powerful. Most of the power is actually supposed to be lying with the states. But it's just gotten so far out of control now, guys. I mean, we're on the path, folks, really. If we don't put a stop to this, you're going to see a true socialist nation, a communist nation, within the next decade to 20 years. Not making this up. It needs to stop. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, Joe Biden out there saying the same old talking points. And it's just pathetic. This man is just a joke. He really is. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.